is going to be a part of the WWE Network sometime in 2012. The Iron Sheik, the Million Dollar Man, Ted DiBiase, some rumored names that are going to be involved with Legends House. And it's very appropriate that a lot of news on the news websites now are talking about these legends. And they're opening up, using the internet as an open forum through Facebook and Twitter, and doing internet interviews on radio shows and for written columns talking about Edge's induction. I myself had the opportunity to see Edge perform back in 2002 at a SmackDown house show against Kurt Angle. The match was about 20 minutes in length, and Edge was a fantastic performer then. And if he were to come back, despite his injury and his personal problems, I think he would still be as phenomenal as a performer as he was 10 years ago. Edge is definitely a guy who probably could have gone at least 10 more years if he would have decided to, and probably would have went on to win 5 or 6 more world championships, if not in WWE and TNA somewhere, which is ironically the only company Edge never did work for. In his career, he worked for WCW when they folded and went to WWE as a purchased brand extension. He worked for ECW when they were a purchased brand extension for WWE. So, I mean, he's worked for virtually every company technically except TNA Wrestling. And I think that if you would have gotten 10 more years out of Edge, you would have easily seen him win more championships, if not in WWE, somewhere else. And he probably would have made occasional appearances for Ring of Honor like Ric Flair did following his departure from WWE. So, I think that, this is so cool that so many people are talking about Edge's induction. I'm sure the Four Horsemen will be talking about it as the days go by, about Edge's induction, because it's amazing. After all these contributions, 31 championships to his credit, 11 of them world championships. So many people are talking about it. Former champions themselves are talking about Edge, and these are people that Edge strived to be like at one point in time in his life. I mean, he's come a long way since sitting in the crowd at WrestleMania 6, seeing Hogan versus the Warrior, and seeing the Warrior end WrestleMania by winning both the WWE Championship and the Intercontinental Championship, something that Cody Rhodes thinks he's going to do. Cody Rhodes thinks he's going to pull an Ultimate Warrior this year at WrestleMania and win both the WWE Championship and the Intercontinental Championship and hold them for a record amount of time. He's been Intercontinental Champion for 5.5 months, and he has been ever since defeating Ezekiel Jackson back 5 months ago in 2011 last year. So he's going to pull an Ultimate Warrior. The only thing is, Edge won't be there to see it. There are rumors that Randy Orton will show up at the Royal Rumble in his hometown of St. Louis, Missouri, and pull a Royal Rumble victory out from underneath the rug and go on to WrestleMania. I don't see that happening. We'll have to just wait and see as the final few days before the Royal Rumble quickly approach. My pick to win the Royal Rumble this year has to be someone like Sheamus, who lasted over 20 minutes last year. Edge won the 2010 Royal Rumble match, and ever since then it seems like his career has really taken off to even greater heights. And it's only been a year and a half just about that Edge won the Royal Rumble, and now he's going into the Hall of Fame. I like it. I think it's really cool that so many legends are talking about it, and like I said, it ties in well with the whole Legends House reality show, where legends are going to have to coexist under one roof. We have talked about Edge's Hall of Fame induction in a 6-part YouTube video series here on youtube.com, Jonathan Clarke 22. It's one of our latest video archives on our YouTube channel, so if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, you can do so by visiting our YouTube channel by clicking on the link to our YouTube channel found in our social networks, which is found at the top of the navigational bar in our website. Our website has easier navigation than ever before. We also moved our weekly poll to the front of the website, so make sure you check all that out and take advantage of the Add This button, allowing you to bookmark our website through one of your favorite social networks, such as Facebook and Twitter, and all the other social networks out there as well. So make sure you take advantage of the Add This button. It's powered by AddThis.com. Get yours today. It's a great way to increase traffic to your website, or at least I think it is. You can also tell me what you think of Edge's induction and join the Hall of Famers who are talking about Edge's induction. Hall of Famers and future Hall of Famers are like former champions at Facebook.com, Jonathan Clarke, and YouTube.com, Jonathan Clarke 22 via comment for one of our YouTube video archives. As I mentioned, the Edge Hall of Fame induction one is one of our latest video archives, so that's how you can get your hands on that one, and it's just absolutely overwhelming to know that Edge's Hall of Fame induction is being received just as well as someone like Shawn Michaels or Bret Hart's was received. several years ago. I mean, Shawn Michaels was received so well by his fans. He referred to them as the Clique for years. And when he was inducted about a year ago, so many people stood behind him and supported him, and I think even more people are supporting Edge. And that's so amazing and so outstanding that it's being done this way for him. And I hope that he finds success in whatever he does outside of the wrestling business, because I really think that he's going to have success outside of the wrestling business, just like he did when he was a part of it for all those years, ever since 1998, and he competed in his first professional wrestling match long before he ever signed with WWE in 1996 in the Hamilton Coliseum. So I really think that he's definitely progressed and transitioned into someone who has a tremendous amount of experience, who, if he were to come back as an announcer, he could definitely offer a lot of insight to the wrestling business as to what happens inside of the ring. He could also offer a tremendous amount of experience to someone on NXT in its 8th or ninth season by the time he were to return. I think, I'm wondering if he's going to come back and, be a guy who, does commentary, like Booker T's doing now, or Jerry Lawler. I'm wondering if he's going to come back and probably be a potential pro for a rookie on NXT. It would give him something to do, and it would allow him to remain in a business that he seems to have an incredible amount of passion and desire to be a part of, at least. And I think, I'm still wondering if he's going to come back in a different role than a wrestler. A lot of people have done it. I mean, people have gone into the Hall of Fame, have continued to do commentary, have come back in different roles as a manager. We've seen so many people do it in the past. The possibility of Edge doing it has never been brought up. I think this is one of the first times that I've brought it up. But I think that he will come back in a different role probably 5 or 6 years from now. A lot of people think when you go into the Hall of Fame, you should be done with your professional wrestling career, and if you want to, go on and do something else. You shouldn't even open up a wrestling school like the likes of Harley Race and Bader is in the process of now doing. A lot of people like Paul Ellering have told me, once you do something for over 10 or 15 years, you should go on and do something else with your life. And maybe you should, but if you have a desire to continue what you've been doing all your life, why not, come back in a different role? Shawn Michaels said, after you do something for 25 years, it's kind of hard to walk away from it and never have anything to do with it since. Shawn Michaels is one guy who's made minimal appearances on WWE television. He kind of only comes back when he has something to promote. But he always offers an insight into something huge that's going on in the wrestling business a couple of years after he's left the business. He's one who talked about Edge, and he talked about Edge in such a way that, it seemed like he knew Edge all of his life. I mean, the two of them are great friends. They created a lot of great matches together, and a lot of great moments. For the better part of 2005, Edge and Shawn Michaels were feuding, and they had so many great matches. I mean, I can't even put a finger on what one was my favorite one. The match they had from the 2005 Royal Rumble was great. It was only about 15 minutes in length, but Shawn Michaels and Edge had a tremendous exchange in that match, and I remember seeing it. If you haven't seen it, go to YouTube and pull it up. Edge was also huge on the social networks. He always tweeted something, or he always Facebooked something for fans to see, and on his YouTube channel he always had a video up. I think that, he was great with fans. He had a connection with fans that was unparalleled at any connection that any wrestler may have had. Hogan had a tremendous connection with his fans. Generation X had connection with their fans. But I don't think anybody had a connection with fans like Edge did. Edge loved them. I think that is a connection that will never be duplicated. And if you were an Edge head, you contributed to something that was absolutely phenomenal. Ever since 1998, there never has been a dull moment provided to us by Edge. I think people will always criticize and procrastinate against professional wrestlers for some of the things they do. I know that Edge was procrastinated against a fair bit when that whole Lita affair thing was made public for the first time on the internet and turned into a professional wrestling angle in 2005 for the first time. But I think, that it really elevated Edge into being known as the rated R superstar. It helped him in going in a different direction with his career. He was definitely procrastinated against for 2005, 2006. They even brought Matt Hardy back in, but I think that procrastination and criticism is only fuel to a fire that is eternally burning inside someone's soul, and it allows them to succeed beyond anyone's expectations. People will criticize and procrastinate against someone because of jealousy, and I think a lot of people were jealous about Edge, especially when that whole Lita thing broke public for the first time on the internet, through a number of different news articles, through Edge talking about it, through Lita talking about it, and it finally becoming public for the first time in 2006. I think that, it only fueled Edge to succeed, and because of that, he went on to win additional championships in his career. Aside from winning the World Championship, it allowed him to win the tag team titles with a number of different partners like Chris Jericho and Randy Orton, who also talks about Edge very fondly. And he should, because he was his tag team partner for a number of months. Edge was a phenomenal Intercontinental Champion. He defeated Randy Orton a couple of years ago. I think it was in 2004 when he defeated Randy Orton to win the Intercontinental Championship for a record-breaking 6th or 7th time. So he's definitely done a lot. So, I think rightfully so, these wrestlers should be talking positively about him, and will continue to talk positively about him long after he's accepted his induction. I'm expecting the induction of Edge, the speech of Edge, to be rather emotional. Shawn Michaels' induction speech from a few years ago wasn't that as emotional as what I thought it was going to be. I thought Shawn Michaels was going to get all teary-eyed because of the connection he had with the Clique. He's another one who had an unforgettable bond with fans, but it wasn't as emotional as what I was expecting it to be. Bret Hart's wasn't as emotional as I was expecting it to be. He kind of just came out and told everyone he was in good health, and he was going to be all right from there on out. And we had no indication that he was going to be coming back to WWE 5 years after his induction. So, it's not to be said that Edge is completely finished with professional wrestling. Just because you go into the Hall of Fame doesn't mean that you're done with professional wrestling. There have been over 100 inductions, and I would say about 30 to 35 of them have come back for small roles, medium-sized roles. Some of them have come back for long-term roles. I mean, Jerry Lawler. If you're supposedly supposed to be done, why has Jerry Lawler been with World Wrestling Entertainment for over 19 years and spent 40 years in the wrestling business? I mean, he's a great illustration of how long somebody can go in the wrestling business. It's believed that someone like The Undertaker will wrestle until he's physically unable to do so, although I don't see it for happening, but it very well could. So there, are a number of different scenarios we could illustrate for Edge, or at least attempt to illustrate, but the only one who knows what direction he's heading in is him. You can check out his show on Sci-Fi. It's called Haven. He's filmed a number of those. It's a successful show. It's probably just as successful as SmackDown, and the only reason it is successful for Sci-Fi is because it's starring a WWE superstar, and it's free publicity for Edge, because the WWE are still promoting it, and I think they'll continue to promote anything that Edge does long after his Hall of Fame induction. Some of the Hall of Fame induction speeches from the past have been emotional, and some haven't, and I'm really expecting Edge's to be one of the more emotional ones.